3D.
Shamrock Creek.
Crammed here in the garage at the main house, and it's full of stuff because we've got all the solar panels in here, all the batteries in here. Of course, the Jeep's crammed in here, and it's Christmas time, so all the Christmas boxes are out, and so my garage is very tight. So I wedged myself into my workbench where my big vise is. What we're working on is some ground anchors for the fire pit cover we installed. So I put a link in the description below. If you missed that video, we installed a big 20 by 20 fire pit cover so we can hang around the fire pit even when it's crappy and raining out. The installers for that put in about 40-inch what they call earth anchors. They're big giant steel rods, and they go down into the ground, and then they have a little clamp that clamps onto the base of the unit. There's 3 of those per side, which is probably fine. They're pretty long. However, I come from the Department of Over-Engineering, so I try to over-engineer everything just so I don't have to deal with problems later, or less of them. My plan is to anchor that even further. I'll probably put 2 more anchors on each side and see how that goes. Once I put these into the earth, depending on how hard it is to get them in or how easy it is, that might tell me if I need more of them. I think these, in addition to the ones that are there, will be great. So what I got was these came from Dirt Bolts. You can see they have a big threaded end, and then they go up to a washered head here, and they've got a nut on the end, and they send a socket that fits into a drill with these, and you put that on there and you just drive them into the ground, so they just thread right in. They've got a nice point on the end. The nice thing about these is that once they're in, you don't just have the rod like I have now, you actually have the extra width of this threaded piece holding it down. So I'm going to install 2 of these on each side to reinforce that, and we'll see how that goes. I really don't expect any problems even with the ones that are there, but we do get some pretty high winds, so just like with the plastic resin shed, we want to reinforce it so we can just make sure. So the next step I have to do with these is that I need a bracket to fit on the end, and I dug around through all my stuff. I got parts and metal pieces everywhere, and I couldn't really find anything that I had enough of that was easy enough to modify. So I did run to the hardware store, and I picked up these. They were a couple bucks each, which is surprisingly cheap for these days because supply and demand in metal and stuff is just insane. These guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drill this end so that the threaded end of this can thread through it and fit on there, but it can't be wider than the washer obviously at the top. So I'm going to drill a hole in this end to get this through. This will actually sit over the base rail of the structure. And then this sticks out here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bend this down so we get a little bit of a U there. 2 reasons. 1, all the better because it can hold onto it better. But 2, this sticking out is a great place to destroy an ankle or a foot as you walk by. So I want to bend that down so it's out of the way and not like a nasty thing to people will kick. So then this will basically be right here, and that'll be bent down over the frame. One thing I did also grab was these guys, which are kind of a big heavy steel washer, and they can actually thread through this, and then we'll get a little bit more surface area on the end there. When you work in the Department of Over-Engineering, you put big giant washers on everything. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is attempt to drill all these out. Got to find a bit wide enough, so I can't, I need this to fit through, but I need it wide enough. It doesn't have to be as wide as this. I need it wide enough just to start this thread, so you can see it's got to hit right there, so that when it goes in the hole, it can just thread through it and then slide up. If I make it as wide as this, obviously it won't fit here. So let's see what we can do. All right, let's get out the drill that's not cordless because that's going to go through a ton of batteries. I've had this DeWalt power drill for 20-some, probably 24 years or something. Still going strong. Can't beat the raw power of a non-battery powered device. Should have used this in the first time. Should work. I think one of the things I can do on the next one is I don't need to go width all the way this way. I can actually make more of a channel because I only have to get the distance from this edge to this peak. Once I can do that, then it'll thread in. So I'm going to try that on the next one, just do more of a channel. That way I get a little more support on the sides. This is 1/4 inch steel, so I'm not really worried about it, but just in case, I'm going to try that and see if that works. Metal shavings everywhere. This is when it's great to have a big magnet. I have a thing up here that's a big magnet like this, and it's got a big handle on it. You just run it around, it sucks all that stuff up. Hopefully none went in my coffee. All right, they ain't beautiful, but they're totally functional. So we'll get them all spray painted up when we get up there and get these installed, see how it works. Woohoo! Beautiful. Got to get you one of these. Great for finding bolts and screws, especially in an area like a driveway or something where you don't know if they've fallen in and might hit a tire. But man, just for picking up metal shavings from drilling and stuff, awesome. Brackets that I made to reinforce or re-secure the new fire pit cover. It probably doesn't need additional things to hold it down, but we're going to put some ground stakes in anyways. They're called Ground Grabbas, and so I'm going to put those in while I'm here. Okay, going to put the Ground Grabbers in. You can see they have they had put in some brackets here already that go down in, and then there's also the ones that go down through the frame that come with it. So we're just adding to that on this side. So let's put one in here and see how they work. Worked pretty good. Put the other 3 in and we'll be good to go.